Hi, I'm Alex Pedley, author and health coach. Over the past 20 years, I've worked with hundreds of executives to help them optimize their body, health, and performance. And in this video, I'm going to teach you 3 ways to lose fat so you can adapt your diet to achieve your body goals. I'll share 3 practical methods to achieve a calorie deficit and how to adapt as your metabolism changes to avoid the dreaded weight loss plateau. But first, to lose weight, your body needs to be in a calorie deficit, burning more calories than you consume. So you may have heard people say they are hardly eating anything but not losing weight, or blaming a slow metabolism or disrupted hormones. But the truth is, if they were in a calorie deficit, they would lose weight. So imagine someone was kidnapped and chained to a radiator, completely stressed out with disrupted hormones, poor sleep and no exercise. Now it's not the nicest picture to paint, but even with high cortisol, hardly any sleep and not moving, they would still lose weight if they were there for long enough without enough food. So I use this example to show that you will lose weight if you don't eat enough food for your body's energy needs. It's just about finding a way to achieve a calorie deficit that works for you. So there are 3 main ways to create a calorie deficit: calorie counting, reducing a macronutrient, and closing your eating window. So first up, let's look at calorie counting. So this involves tracking everything you eat, drink, using an app or food journal. To do this, work out your maintenance calories, the amount of your body needs to maintain its current weight using an online energy expenditure calculator. Then subtract 500 from your maintenance level to create a calorie deficit. So this would lead to losing about 1 pound per week. So you need to track everything: meals, snacks, drinks, and small bites. Trying to estimate calories in food can be difficult, so at the start I would recommend using a scale to measure your portion size to ensure accuracy. Also check serving sizes on food packaging. Simple tip to make the process a lot easier is to eat similar meals each day. You'll start to understand the portion size once you've weighed it a couple of times, meaning you won't need to measure every portion. So over time, you will also learn the right portion sizes for you to, either maintain your weight or lose it. Now, the downsides of calorie count is that you must track meticulously, which can become time consuming, but if you can make it work, calorie counting is the best way, as you learn what your body needs and can change your behaviors around food. So the second way to get into a calorie deficit is to manipulate macronutrients. So macronutrients are proteins, carbohydrates and fats, and are the building blocks of your diet. By reducing either carbs or fat, you can significantly cut calories because you're reducing one of the 3 main food groups, and you won't need to track everything you eat. So if you love carbs like pasta, rice and breads, then reduce your fat intake. But if you enjoy higher fat, protein-rich foods like meats, avocados and nuts, then it's probably a better option to cut down your carbs. So you have to be wary when cutting carbs too drastically, as it can impact your fibre intake and lead to digestive issues. But then on the other hand, cutting fats too much can affect hormone production and vitamin absorption. So getting enough fibre and healthy fat is an important part of a healthy diet. The one macro you should not cut down is protein. Protein is essential for muscle maintenance, satiety and fat loss. Always aim to keep protein intake high regardless of the macro you choose to reduce. Reducing a macronutrient, whether it's carbs or fat, is a simple way to cut calories, but it's not without its challenges. But it is an effective way to reduce body fat if you can make it work for you. So the third method is time restricted eating, so reducing your eating window. So reducing your eating window is a simple method to create a calorie deficit. Instead of eating throughout the day, you limit the time you allow yourself to consume food. So for example, you may only eat between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. So it is a simple way to reduce your calorie intake, as there are fewer hours to eat and it cuts out late night snacks or early morning grazing. The key is to pick a window that works within your daily routine. So starting to eat later in the day might feel natural if you're not into breakfast, but if you prefer an early start, you may stop eating earlier in the day. Some people graze throughout their day and throughout their window, and they end up consuming more calories than they realise. So it's important to set structured meal times. So this helps to avoid overeating. So for example, you might have 3 meals and you may have it at say 11 a.m, 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. With fewer meals, it can be hard to get enough protein, which is essential for muscle preservation and fat loss, so planning that into your diet is going to be important. So if closing your eating window feels daunting, start with a longer eating window, e.g. 12 hours, and gradually reduce it by an hour every week or 2. This makes the transition much more sustainable. So reducing your eating window can be a simple and effective way to create a calorie deficit, but it's not a free pass to graze or skip important nutrients. Set structured meal times, prioritise protein, and choose a window that suits your lifestyle. So they are the three main ways to get into a calorie deficit, but be aware as you begin to lose weight, your body adapts by becoming more efficient, which means your metabolism slows. This process, called adaptive thermogenesis, happens because your body has less mass to maintain and is trying to conserve energy for survival. So for example, if you weigh 200 pounds and now weigh 180 pounds, your body requires fewer calories to sustain your new weight. And this is why the same diet that worked in the beginning might stop working over time. Now the main way to counter this is to adjust your calorie intake. So as your weight decreases, reduce your intake slightly. You will naturally move less as your body wants to preserve energy. So track your steps and aim for 8 to 10,000 steps to keep your energy expenditure nice and high. Another important aspect is maintaining muscle mass by doing resistance training. So muscle tissue burns more calories at rest than fat tissue. By reserving or even building muscle, you ensure your body stays metabolically active, helping you burn more calories throughout the day. So aim for 2 to 3 sessions per week is a good place to start. So the other part of maintaining muscle mass is getting adequate protein. So when you're working out, your muscles need protein to recover and rebuild nice and strong. So protein is also highly satiating, meaning it helps you feel fuller for longer. This reduces cravings and makes it easier to stick to your calorie deficit. So protein also burns more calories during digestion. This is called the thermic effect of food, and it's highest with protein. Your body uses more energy to digest and process protein compared to fats and carbs. So aim for about 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Lastly, track your weight daily to see the trend over a week. A small daily fluctuations are normal. So to summarise, there are 3 main mechanisms to achieve a calorie deficit and weight loss. One is to create a calorie deficit using calorie counting, reducing the macronutrient or intermittent fasting. Adapt your calorie intake as your metabolism slows and prioritise resistance training to preserve lean muscle mass and boost your metabolism. Get enough protein to reduce hunger, maintain muscle and burn more calories. Now, if you found that helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video.